The air crackled with the excitement of a new era. It was the late 16th century, a time when the old world was crumbling and a new one was being born. In the heart of this burgeoning change, a young man named Francis Bacon, his mind ablaze with curiosity, walked the cobblestone streets of London. He wasn't just any young man. Bacon was a prodigy, his intellect as sharp as the quill he used to scribble his thoughts. He devoured knowledge, his mind a sponge soaking up the wisdom of the ages. But he wasn't content with simply absorbing. He yearned to create, to push the boundaries of what was known, to understand the universe not through ancient texts, but through the lens of direct observation and experimentation. Yet, ambition tugged at his heart. He saw himself not just as a scholar, but as a man of action, a leader. He yearned for the power to shape the world, to guide the course of human progress. And so he traded the hallowed halls of Cambridge for the cutthroat world of politics, his sharp mind seeking to win the favor of Queen Elizabeth. But the Queen, a woman of tradition, saw little value in Bacon's unorthodox ideas. He was a brilliant mind, yes, but one that challenged the established order, a mind that dared to question the very foundations of knowledge. His ambitions, however, did not die. With the rise of King James I, a new era of possibilities opened up. Bacon, his intellect honed by years of political maneuvering, finally found his footing. He climbed the ranks, his sharp wit and strategic mind winning him the favor of the king, culminating in the prestigious position of Lord Chancellor. But even as he basked in the glow of political success, Bacon never forgot his true passion, the pursuit of knowledge. He realized that the world needed a new way of understanding, a method of inquiry that wasn't bound by ancient dogma or religious superstition. He penned treatises like The Advancement of Learning and Novum Organum Scientiarum, advocating for a scientific method that relied on observation, experimentation, and rigorous analysis. He saw the world as a puzzle, each piece waiting to be discovered through careful and systematic exploration. His vision went beyond mere scientific inquiry. He dreamt of a society where knowledge was shared, where a community of brilliant minds worked together to unlock the secrets of the universe. In his utopian novel, Nova Atlantis, he imagined a society dedicated to scientific research, a place where the pursuit of knowledge was the highest virtue. Bacon's legacy lives on, not just in his groundbreaking ideas, but in the institutions he inspired. His vision of a collaborative research community fueled the creation of the Royal Society, a group of brilliant minds who came together to share ideas and push the boundaries of knowledge. Francis Bacon, the man who saw beyond the limitations of his time, the man who dared to question everything, became a beacon for generations to come. He was a testament to the power of curiosity, the boundless possibilities of the human mind, and the enduring quest for knowledge that continues to shape our world today. 1. Biography. The air hung thick with the scent of wood smoke and the murmur of hushed voices as Francis Bacon was born in the heart of a winter's day, January 22, 1561. He was the second child of Sir Nicholas Bacon, a man of power and influence as Lord Keeper of the Seal, and Lady Anne Cook Bacon, a woman whose intellect blazed brighter than any hearth fire. Lady Anne, a daughter of the esteemed Sir Anthony Cook, tutor to King Edward VI, was a beacon of humanist learning. She spoke Greek and Latin as fluently as she breathed, and her mastery of Italian and French added further color to her already vibrant mind. This was the world that young Francis, along with his older brother Anthony, was born into, a world of politics, scholarship, and a fervent Calvinist faith. Their father, a man of grand vision, built a magnificent house at Gorhambury, a testament to his wealth and ambition. Here, Francis spent his formative years, nurtured in an atmosphere of intellectual curiosity and political intrigue. At 7, he was sent to Trinity College, Cambridge, where he and Anthony learned under the watchful eye of John Whitgift, a man who would later rise to become the Archbishop of Canterbury. Whitgift, a man of rigorous intellect, immersed them in the works of ancient giants like Cicero, Demosthenes, and Livy, sparking a thirst for knowledge that would define Francis's life. But the academic world, with its rigid scholastic methods, felt too constricting for Francis. He yearned for something more, a deeper understanding of the world around him. He craved a philosophy grounded in observation, not just dusty texts. This yearning would lead him to Gray's Inn, London's renowned legal institution, where he began his studies in 1576. However, fate had other plans for him. A diplomatic mission to Paris in 1577, accompanying Sir Amias Paulet, the English ambassador, pulled him away from his legal pursuits. This journey, a whirlwind of political maneuvering and courtly intrigue, sparked a fascination with the intricacies of power. But the whispers of ambition were silenced by the sudden death of his father in 1579. He returned to England, the weight of his father's legacy and a meager inheritance pressing heavily on his shoulders. He found himself in a precarious financial situation, and his maternal uncle, Lord Burghley, a man of immense power, seemed unwilling to offer a helping hand. This rejection, a wound to his pride, fueled a burning desire to prove his worth. He decided to pursue a career in politics, entering the House of Commons in 1581, a stage where he could finally command attention. His ambition, however, was not solely fueled by a desire for power. Francis, with a mind that yearned for knowledge, dreamt of a radical reformation of natural philosophy. He envisioned a world where science was not bound by ancient doctrines, but by observation and experiment. He was a man of two ambitions, a political firebrand and a scholar, a combination that proved to be both his strength and his downfall. The years that followed were a whirlwind of political maneuvering, legal battles, and philosophical explorations. He wrote political treatises, served on important committees, and even became involved in the investigation of English Catholics, a dangerous game in a nation on the edge of religious turmoil. All the while, he nurtured his dream of a new science, a vision that was met with skepticism and indifference from Queen Elizabeth and Lord Burghley. He sought patronage from the powerful Earl of Essex, a man who, like Francis, possessed an ambitious spirit and a desire to leave his mark on history. Under Essex's patronage, Francis immersed himself in natural philosophy, writing letters that revealed a mind that saw all knowledge as its province. He aimed to purge the world of frivolous debates and blind experiments, replacing them with grounded conclusions and profitable inventions. But ambition, like a double-edged sword, could cut both ways. In 1593, Francis's refusal to comply with the Queen's request for funds from Parliament led to a clash that cost him her favor. His patron Essex was unable to shield him from the Queen's wrath, and his hopes of securing a high government post were dashed. The years that followed were a period of uncertainty, a time when Francis wrestled with the failures of his ambition and the weight of his dreams. He considered giving up politics and dedicating himself to his scientific endeavors, but the lure of power, of shaping the world around him, remained too strong to resist. The story of Francis Bacon is a tapestry woven with ambition, intellect, and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. He was a man who dared to dream, to challenge the established order, and to carve his own path in a world that often seemed determined to resist his vision. The years that followed would be a roller coaster ride of triumph and tragedy, a testament to the complexity of the human spirit. 2. Natural philosophy, struggle with tradition. Francis Bacon, a man born into a world of rigid dogma and intellectual slumber, was a restless spirit. He couldn't shake the feeling that the very foundations of knowledge were built on sand, a shaky foundation that had been accepted for far too long. He saw through the venerated pronouncements of Plato and Aristotle, the giants of ancient thought, and found them lacking. They were like statues, frozen in time, their ideas offering no guidance for the exploration of the living, breathing world around them. Bacon wasn't content to simply tear down the old order. He yearned to build something new, something sturdy and true. He looked at the Renaissance scholars, men like Paracelsus and Telesio, who were trying to bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and the burgeoning world of scientific discovery. But even these pioneers, he felt, were stuck in a rut, clinging to the old ways. Bacon saw the fault in Aristotle's system. It was a house built on a shaky foundation of axioms, specific rules for each branch of knowledge. What was missing, Bacon realized, was a unifying principle, a grand theory of science that could illuminate all aspects of the natural world. He envisioned a new way of thinking, a pyramid of knowledge with nature at its apex. He saw the universe as a tapestry woven from patterns, from nature's effects as structured modes of action, not as artifacts of human creation. He rejected the notion that knowledge was born from the mind alone, from the sterile pronouncements of textbooks. He was particularly critical of the Aristotelian approach to knowledge, with its emphasis on deductive reasoning and the reliance on ancient authorities. It was as if, Bacon argued, philosophers were spinning webs of logic out of their own minds, rather than diligently gathering the raw materials of observation. He compared them to spiders, weaving intricate tapestries of theory, while neglecting the rich world of nature around them. Bacon instead envisioned the scientist as a bee, diligently gathering pollen from the flowers of experience, transforming it into the sweet nectar of knowledge. He insisted on the primacy of observation, of scientia operativa, the active pursuit of knowledge through experimentation and observation. He challenged the very foundations of knowledge, questioning the validity of traditional logic and the Aristotelian notion of a fifth essence, a mystical substance that held together the universe. He saw the world through a different lens, one that prioritized experience and observation over abstract theory. His struggle with tradition was fierce, an ongoing battle fought on many fronts. He challenged the dogma of his age, the unquestioned wisdom of the ancients, and the self-satisfied pronouncements of the scholars around him. His was a lonely quest, a fight against the comfortable slumber of intellectual stagnation. But Bacon persevered, his mind aflame with a passion for truth. He knew that the future of knowledge lay not in the dusty pages of ancient texts, but in the boundless realm of nature itself. 3. Natural philosophy, theory of the idols and the system of sciences. 3.1 The idols. Imagine a world shrouded in fog, where truth is obscured by a veil of illusion. In this world lived Francis Bacon, a man with a burning desire to pierce through the mist and unveil the true nature of reality. He believed that the human mind, far from being a blank slate, was a warped mirror, reflecting distorted images of the world. He called these distortions idols, and he saw them as the greatest obstacle to true knowledge. Bacon's idols were not mere figments of imagination, but rather deeply ingrained biases and preconceptions that clouded our perception. He categorized them into 4 types: idols of the tribe, idols of the cave, idols of the marketplace, and idols of the theater. The idols of the tribe were common to all humanity, stemming from our inherent tendency to jump to conclusions and impose patterns on the world. Imagine a child seeing a dog for the first time and assuming all furry creatures are dogs. This is an example of the idols of the tribe at work. The idols of the cave, on the other hand, were unique to each individual, shaped by their personal experiences and biases. Think of a person who grew up in a strict household and carries that rigidity into their adult life. This is a manifestation of the idols of the cave. The idols of the marketplace were born from the limitations of language, where words often fail to capture the true essence of things. Think of the word love, which can mean different things to different people. This is a consequence of the idols of the marketplace. Finally, the idols of the theater were the most insidious, stemming from the acceptance of outdated theories and dogmas. Imagine clinging to the idea that the earth is flat, even when presented with overwhelming evidence to the contrary. This is a prime example of the idols of the theater. Bacon believed that these idols were like cobwebs clinging to the mind, obscuring our view of the world. He called for a purging of the idols, a process of rigorous self-reflection and critical thinking, to free ourselves from their grip. Only then, he argued, could we truly understand the world around us. He likened the human mind to a wax tablet, where old inscriptions needed to be erased before new ones could be etched. He believed that the pursuit of knowledge should be a process of constantly questioning and revising our assumptions, purging our minds of the idols that hold us captive. Bacon's ideas were revolutionary for his time. He challenged the prevailing intellectual paradigms, urging people to abandon their preconceptions and embrace a new way of thinking. He believed that true knowledge could only be attained through a rigorous process of observation, experimentation, and critical analysis. Bacon's work laid the foundation for modern science, emphasizing the importance of empirical evidence and questioning dogma. He is often considered the father of the scientific method, a testament to his profound insights into the nature of knowledge and the human mind. And so, the fog begins to dissipate, revealing a clearer picture of the world, thanks to the man who dared to challenge the idols and pave the way for a new era of intellectual enlightenment. 3.1.1 Idols of the Tribe. The flickering firelight danced on the faces of the gathered tribe, casting elongated shadows that seemed to writhe and whisper. The elders, their faces etched with the wisdom of countless moons, spoke of the idols, those powerful figures that guided their lives. But these idols, they whispered, were not born of divine intervention, but of something far more human, far more flawed. They spoke of a mirror, not of polished silver, but of twisted wood and warped glass. This mirror, they explained, was the very way we saw the world. It distorted reality, bending and twisting the truth until it became something strange and unfamiliar. Take the sun, they said, a blazing orb that brought life and warmth. But through our warped mirror, it became a god, a being of power and mystery, worshipped and feared. The wind, a force of nature, became a spirit, a voice whispering secrets only the brave could understand. The storm, a tempest of raw energy, transformed into the wrath of a vengeful deity. This was the birth of the idols, not from divine decree, but from the human need to explain the unexplainable. We craved order, certainty, a narrative that made sense of the chaos around us. And so, we saw patterns where there were none, attributed agency to the inanimate, and elevated the ordinary to the extraordinary. The elders spoke of the fear that fueled this creation. Fear of the unknown, fear of the unpredictable, fear of the very forces that shaped our lives. We sought comfort in the familiar, in the stories we told ourselves, in the idols we created. But there was a deeper truth, a truth that the elders only whispered in hushed tones. The idols were not just a reflection of our fears, but also a reflection of our deepest desires. We craved power, immortality, a connection to something greater than ourselves. And the idols, in their distorted grandeur, provided us with these things, even if only in our minds. The fire crackled, casting the flickering shadows deeper, and the tribe listened, their faces filled with a mix of wonder and trepidation. For they knew, deep down, that the idols were a double-edged sword. They could provide comfort and guidance, but they could also blind us to the truth, to the beauty and complexity of the world as it truly was. The story ended, leaving the tribe to ponder the nature of their beliefs and the true shape of the mirror that reflected their world. They were left with a question whispered on the wind. Were the idols simply a reflection of our own limitations, or something more? And were we, in our pursuit of certainty, simply creating more idols, more distorted reflections, in the ever-shifting landscape of our own minds? 3.1.2 Idols of the Cave. The flickering firelight danced on the rough walls of the cave, casting long, distorted shadows that seemed to whisper secrets. Inside, huddled around the dying embers, sat a group of people, their faces etched with a mix of fear and fascination. They were the guardians, the keepers of the ancient idols, artifacts of great power, or so they believed. These idols weren't made of gold or precious stones. They were forged from the very essence of their beliefs, each one a potent symbol of their worldview. The idols of the cave, they called them, a name whispered with reverence and awe. The guardians had inherited these idols from their ancestors, passed down through generations, like whispered tales in the darkness. They were told that these idols held the secrets to life, the answers to their deepest questions. They were told that these idols were true, unquestionable, and most importantly, safe. But one of the guardians, a young woman named Alara, couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. She saw the cracks in the idols, the dust clinging to their surfaces, the faint, hollow echoes that resonated when she touched them. She began to question. Where was the evidence? What proof did they have that these idols were anything more than mere reflections of their own desires? The other guardians scoffed at her doubts. They had been raised to believe in the idols, to see them as the foundation of their very existence. They saw Alara's questioning as a threat, a challenge to the very fabric of their reality. Alara, however, felt a growing sense of unease. She knew that the idols were not just beliefs, but a form of comfort, a way to avoid the uncomfortable reality of the unknown. They were the echoes of their past, the whispers of their fears, the ingrained patterns of their childhoods. The idols were their own personal constructs, their own individual caves, shielding them from the truth. One night, Alara decided to break free from the shadows of the cave. She ventured outside into the vast, star-filled expanse of the night sky. The darkness was daunting, but it was also liberating. She felt the wind on her face, the cold of the night, the vastness of the unknown. For the first time, she felt truly free. Alara realized that the idols of the cave were not just personal constructs, but a shared illusion, a collective delusion that kept them chained to the past. She saw the echoes of these idols in the fear and prejudice that ran through their community, the blind obedience to traditions, the resistance to change. Her journey outside the cave was just the beginning. Alara knew that breaking free from the idols of the cave wouldn't be easy. It would require courage, questioning, and a willingness to confront the uncomfortable truth. But she was determined to show her fellow guardians that the truth was out there, waiting to be discovered, and that the only way to find it was to step out of the darkness and into the light. Psychological aspects. Confirmation bias. The guardians cling to their beliefs, even in the face of contradicting evidence, because they seek confirmation of what they already believe. Fear of the unknown. The idols provide a sense of security and comfort, shielding them from the uncertainty and fear of the unknown. Groupthink. The guardians are hesitant to challenge the established beliefs of their community, leading to a shared illusion. Cognitive dissonance. Alara experiences cognitive dissonance when her questioning of the idols clashes with the deeply held beliefs of her community. Self-preservation. The guardians fear the potential disruption that questioning the idols might bring to their lives and their sense of belonging. The power of influence. The idols have been passed down through generations, their influence solidified through social conditioning and cultural norms. 3.1.3 Idols of the Marketplace. The air crackled with a strange energy, a buzz that pulsed through the city streets. It was an energy born not of electricity, but of whispers, of shared pronouncements, of the collective breath of a million voices. For within the tapestry of human interaction, a curious phenomenon was unfolding. It began with a name, a whispered word, a fleeting image on a screen. It started with a simple thought: this person is beautiful, powerful, successful, and then, like a virus, it spread. The name, the image, the fleeting notion took root in the fertile soil of human minds. Soon the whisper became a murmur, the murmur a shout, the fleeting image a pervasive icon. An idol was born. But this idol was not of marble or gold. It was crafted from the very fabric of human communication itself. It was a creature of whispers, of shared narratives, of the collective unconscious that we unknowingly weave together. It was a construct of desires and aspirations, of anxieties and insecurities, projected onto a chosen figurehead. And yet, the power of this idol was undeniable. It influenced our thoughts, shaped our desires, and even dictated our actions. It whispered sweet promises of unattainable perfection, of effortless success, of a life lived without struggle. It offered a comforting illusion of control in a world that often felt chaotic and unpredictable. But what was the psychological cost of this manufactured reverence? Why were we so susceptible to these fabricated ideals? Perhaps it was the yearning for something bigger than ourselves, for a sense of belonging in a world that often felt isolating. Perhaps it was the need to escape the harsh realities of our own lives, to find solace in the comforting narrative of someone else's supposed perfection. The idols themselves, of course, were often oblivious to their own manufactured reality. They were, after all, just human beings, flawed and fragile like the rest of us. Yet, the power of the collective narrative, the weight of a million voices, shaped them into something more, something less. In the end, the idols were merely reflections of ourselves, distorted and magnified by the lens of our own desires and anxieties. They were testaments to the power of language, to the way words could not only shape our understanding, but also manipulate it. And as we looked upon these manufactured gods, we realized with a jolt of unsettling clarity that the true power resided not in the idols themselves, but in the minds that created them. 3.1.4 Idols of the Theater. The flickering stage lights bathed the world in an artificial glow. The audience, hushed and expectant, leaned forward, their eyes glued to the actors. On the stage, a grand drama unfolded, filled with heroes and villains, love and loss, triumph and despair. But the actors were merely playing a part, their lives a carefully crafted illusion. This, thought Sir Francis Bacon, was the world itself. We, the audience, were mesmerized by the spectacle of life, believing the narratives we were told, the roles we were assigned. We clung to the stories spun by the idols of the theater, those prejudices and biases handed down through generations, enshrined in philosophical systems that resembled plays, complete with their own fabricated worlds, their own fabricated truths. These idols, Bacon mused, had never been subjected to the harsh light of experimental inquiry, the scrutiny of experience. They were mere shadows, flickering phantoms on the stage of our minds, their existence dependent on the acceptance of the audience. The idols of the theater were born from dogmatic philosophies, from flawed logic and faulty reasoning. Bacon, a man who sought truth in the world, not in the play, believed these idols must be unmasked, their power broken. He saw the world not as a stage, but as a laboratory, a place of experimentation and discovery. He urged men to step out of the theater, to shed the costumes of their prejudices, and embrace the raw, unfiltered reality of the world. The senses, he argued, were unreliable narrators, prone to deception. Like the actors on the stage, they could only present a limited, and often distorted view of reality. Only through the rigorous process of experimentation, through the careful observation of the world, could we unveil the true nature of things. Bacon envisioned a world where the idols of the theater were banished, replaced by a new kind of knowledge, one grounded in empirical evidence, in the cold, hard truths of the universe. It was a vision of a world where the actors of life would finally step out of their roles and embrace the complexity and beauty of the world as it truly was. He knew the path to this new world was fraught with challenges. People, like the audience in the play, were comfortable with the familiar, resistant to change. They clung to their cherished narratives, their illusions of understanding. But Bacon, the scientist, the philosopher, the seeker of truth, remained undeterred. He believed that with enough courage, enough intellectual honesty, enough rigorous inquiry, the world could finally be freed from the tyranny of the idols of the theater and step into the bright light of reality. 3.2 System of Sciences. The air crackled with the scent of parchment and the quiet hum of scholarly debate. It was the heart of the Renaissance, a time of intellectual awakening, and Francis Bacon, a young man of sharp mind and restless ambition, sat in his study, surrounded by the collected wisdom of centuries. He devoured the works of the ancients, of Aristotle, Plato, and the Roman thinkers, but a nagging feeling of dissatisfaction gnawed at him. Why, he mused, are we still clinging to the remnants of the past? Why are we content with the crumbs from the table of knowledge when a feast awaits? Bacon, a man driven by the insatiable hunger for truth, saw a stark reality. The world of scholarship was stagnant, its progress hindered by outdated ideas and a rigid adherence to the past. He saw the limitations of the Greek and Roman thinkers, their brilliance overshadowed by their reliance on a priori reasoning and the allure of grand, sweeping theories. Bacon yearned for a new way of thinking, a method that would unlock the secrets of the universe through the careful observation and analysis of nature itself. This yearning, this burning desire for a scientific revolution, is what fueled his early manuscripts, each page a testament to his restless mind. It was this ambition that birthed his masterpiece, The Advancement of Learning, a work that shook the foundations of the intellectual world. In this seminal work, Bacon meticulously dissected the existing realms of knowledge, exposing their deficiencies with surgical precision. He laid bare the limitations of traditional classifications, revealing their inability to truly grasp the intricacies of the natural world. We must break free from the shackles of the past, he declared, his voice echoing through the halls of academia. We must build a new system of knowledge, one grounded in observation, experimentation, and the pursuit of truth through the scientific method. Bacon's grand vision, his new Atlantis, was a system of knowledge built on the bedrock of natural science. He divided it into two fundamental pillars, physics and metaphysics. Physics, he argued, explored the variable and particular causes, the intricate workings of the physical world. Metaphysics, on the other hand, delved into the realm of the general and constant, seeking the underlying principles that governed the universe. But Bacon's metaphysics was not the traditional esoteric realm of the ancients. He proposed a new understanding, one that focused on the forms of substances, the most general properties of matter. These forms, he believed, were the key to understanding the fundamental building blocks of existence. To achieve this grand goal, Bacon envisioned a pyramid of knowledge, a systematic ascent from the base of observation to the summit of universal truths. At the base lay the meticulous gathering of data, the painstaking observation of the natural world. From this foundation, he proposed a gradual process of generalization, moving from specific observations to invariant relations, then to more inclusive correlations, until finally reaching the pinnacle of knowledge, the forms. But this journey was not a mere collection of facts. It was a journey of discovery, a process of elimination, where accidental correlations were discarded, and the true essence of nature was revealed through the rigorous application of the scientific method. Bacon's metaphysics, a term that held a different meaning in his hands, was not a realm of abstract speculation. It was a tool, a lens through which to view the world with a clarity that the ancients had never known. It allowed him to see beyond the limitations of individual experience, to grasp the universality of natural laws, and to unlock the potential for their application. His ideas, revolutionary for their time, sparked a fire of curiosity and a thirst for knowledge that would transform the world. Bacon's legacy, his pursuit of a new Atlantis, continues to resonate centuries later, inspiring generations of scientists and thinkers to push the boundaries of human understanding. And so the story continues, a testament to the power of a restless mind, a burning desire for truth, and the relentless pursuit of a new understanding of the world. 3.3 Matter Theory and Cosmology. Imagine a world shrouded in mystery, where the very fabric of nature held secrets whispered only to the curious and the bold. This was the world Francis Bacon, a man of insatiable curiosity, sought to unravel. He believed that if we could only penetrate the hidden structure of matter, the intricate workings of the universe would become as clear as day. Bacon wasn't satisfied with simply observing the world. He craved understanding its very essence. He saw nature as a grand symphony composed of matter and motion, each playing a vital role in the grand orchestra of existence. He envisioned a world where every phenomenon, from the rustling of leaves to the celestial dance of planets, could be explained through the interplay of these two fundamental forces. He delved into the ancient wisdom of philosophers and alchemists, seeking clues to unlock the secrets of nature. He found inspiration in the idea of virtus, a force imbued by God within matter, driving its endless transformations. It was like a primal instinct, an appetite within the very atoms that constituted everything around us. Bacon, a pioneer of his time, wasn't afraid to embrace the unknown. He saw mathematics as a powerful tool, but he recognized its limitations. He believed that true understanding came from delving into the appetites and inclinations of things, the invisible forces that shaped our world. His theory of Cupid, a force driving the constant movement of matter, went beyond the simplistic mechanisms proposed by his contemporaries. He sought to understand the essence of reality, the hidden substratum beneath the veil of appearances. Bacon's quest for knowledge wasn't limited to the physical realm. He explored the realm of magic, not as a dark art, but as a powerful tool for unlocking the secrets of nature. He envisioned a world where knowledge of hidden forms could be used to manipulate the very fabric of reality, creating wondrous and unimaginable feats. He believed that true knowledge was more than just understanding how things were made. It was about understanding the force and manner by which they came together, their transformations, their very essence. He sought to weave together his theory of matter, his understanding of the cosmos, and the mystical art of alchemy into a grand tapestry of knowledge. Bacon's world was a world of spirits, invisible agents of change, constantly in motion. These spirits, like tiny engines, drove the world around us, imbued with a primal desire for self-multiplication and attraction. They were the key to understanding the intricate dance of life, from the growth of plants to the complex workings of the human body. Bacon's vision was a world where knowledge was not a static accumulation of facts, but a dynamic process of discovery. He believed in the power of the inductive method, a process of observation, experimentation, and deduction that would lead humanity to a deeper understanding of the natural world. His quest for knowledge was a journey into the heart of creation, a quest to understand the grand symphony of existence, a quest that continues to inspire scientists and philosophers to this day. 4. Scientific method, the project of the Instauratio Magna. Imagine a world where the very foundations of knowledge were being shaken, where the whispers of ancient wisdom were challenged by the roar of a new era. This was the world of Francis Bacon, a man whose mind burned with the fire of revolution, a fire that sought to illuminate the path towards a new understanding of the universe. Bacon, a titan of his time, dreamed of a grand tapestry woven with threads of scientific inquiry, a tapestry he named the Great Instauration. It was a monument to his vision, a monument that would stand as a testament to the power of reason and the boundless potential of human discovery. He envisioned 6 parts to this colossal work, each a chapter in a story of intellectual liberation. He saw it as a mirror reflecting the divine order of creation, mirroring God's work in 6 days. He saw nature as a labyrinth, a tangled maze that could only be navigated with a carefully crafted map, a map he intended to provide through his new organon. The first part of his instauration was a grand survey of knowledge, a catalogue of what was known, and a bold declaration of what was yet to be discovered. It was a call to arms, a challenge to the stagnant traditions that had held sway for centuries. The second part, the Novum Organum, was the heart of his revolution. It was a radical new method of scientific investigation, a logic of research that transcended the limitations of traditional thinking. It was a blueprint for a new way of understanding the world, a way that emphasized observation, experimentation, and the relentless pursuit of truth. The third part was to be a vast repository of natural history, a meticulously compiled collection of observations about the universe. He saw this as the foundation upon which his new philosophy would be built, a solid bedrock of empirical evidence. He envisioned a collection of natural histories, each a window into a different aspect of the natural world, a testament to the intricacy and wonder of creation. The fourth part, the ladder of intellect, was a bridge between his method of natural history and his ultimate goal, a new philosophy. It was a guide to the process of scientific reasoning, a roadmap for navigating the labyrinth of knowledge. He saw it as a process of ascent, a journey from the raw data of observation to the heights of understanding. The fifth part, a collection of foreigners, was a showcase of the early fruits of his revolution, a glimpse into the future of science. He recognized that the full realization of his vision would take time, but he was confident that the seeds he had planted would bear fruit. He was a visionary, a man who saw beyond the limitations of his own time, a man who knew that the future held boundless possibilities. The final part, the culmination of his grand vision, was to be the new philosophy itself. However, fate intervened, and the tapestry of Bacon's vision remained incomplete. His death in 1626 left the world with a fragment, a glimpse into the mind of a genius, a testament to the ambition and the enduring power of human curiosity. Why did he choose to structure his work this way, mirroring the 6 days of creation? Was it a way to appeal to the religious sensibilities of his time, to frame his revolutionary ideas within a framework that would be familiar and acceptable? Was it a reflection of his own deeply held religious beliefs, a belief that the pursuit of knowledge was a form of divine worship, or was it simply a powerful metaphor, a way to illustrate the grand scale of his vision, the vastness of the intellectual landscape he sought to explore? Whatever the reason, Bacon's work stands as a testament to the power of the human mind, a testament to the relentless pursuit of understanding, and a reminder that the journey of discovery is an ongoing one. His great instauration may have remained a fragment, but the seeds he planted continue to bear fruit, inspiring generations of scientists and thinkers to push the boundaries of knowledge, to explore the mysteries of the universe and to embrace the boundless potential of human ingenuity. 5. Scientific method, novum organum and the theory of induction. The year is 1607. A young Francis Bacon, brimming with intellectual curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, sits in his study, pen in hand. He's not content with the accepted wisdom of the day, the dusty tomes of Aristotle that have held sway for centuries. He yearns for a new way of knowing, a way that doesn't just rely on ancient pronouncements, but digs deep into the very fabric of nature itself. He begins to scribble, his thoughts flowing onto the parchment like a rushing river. He calls his work Cogitata et Visa, a name that hints at his desire to think and see beyond the confines of tradition. In this work, he lays the groundwork for a revolutionary idea, a method that will forever change the way we understand the world. He calls it induction, a process that, unlike the rigid syllogisms of the past, allows us to rise from the specific to the general, to build knowledge piece by piece, like a craftsman painstakingly constructing a masterpiece. Years pass, and Bacon's ideas take shape. In 1620, he unveils his masterpiece, Novum Organum, a bold declaration of scientific independence. He lays bare his method, urging us to gather information from things and bring it into understanding. He rejects the old ways, the reliance on authority and abstract concepts, and calls for a new era of observation and experimentation. Imagine Bacon, his eyes gleaming with the fire of discovery as he lays out his method. He speaks of tables of presence and tables of absence, meticulous records of the world's phenomena, each observation a piece of the puzzle he seeks to solve. He speaks of forms, the fundamental principles that govern nature, the secrets that lie hidden within the very essence of things. He envisions a world where knowledge is not a static, unchanging entity, but a dynamic, ever-evolving process, driven by the relentless pursuit of truth. Bacon's vision is not without its critics. Some dismiss his ideas as mere tinkering, a departure from the grand philosophical systems of the past. Others, trapped in the comforting familiarity of established dogma, resist his radical approach. But Bacon remains undeterred. He knows that his method is not just about acquiring knowledge, but about harnessing its power, using it to command nature by obeying her, to unlock the secrets of the universe and use them to better the lives of humanity. Bacon's legacy is immeasurable. He is the father of the scientific method, a pioneer who paved the way for the extraordinary scientific advancements of centuries to come. His ideas continue to resonate, reminding us that true knowledge is not a gift bestowed upon us, but a treasure we must actively seek, with open minds and a thirst for understanding. So, the next time you gaze at the stars or marvel at the intricate workings of a flower, remember the legacy of Francis Bacon. It is through his vision that we have come to understand the universe, not as a static tapestry, but as a living, breathing entity, full of mysteries waiting to be unveiled. 6. Science and social philosophy. Imagine a world shrouded in the shadows of the fall, where mankind grapples with the consequences of Adam and Eve's disobedience. Francis Bacon, a brilliant mind of the early modern era, saw a path out of this darkness, a path illuminated by the twin lights of science and faith. Bacon, steeped in the Puritan ethos, believed that humanity's lost paradise could be regained, not through blind acceptance of divine decree, but through the relentless pursuit of knowledge. He envisioned a society where the book of nature, the physical world around us, became an open book, its secrets waiting to be deciphered. He saw science as a collective endeavor, a grand project uniting minds to unlock the mysteries of creation. This pursuit, he believed, was not in opposition to God's will, but a form of divine service, a way to understand and appreciate God's magnificent work. Bacon, however, was a pragmatist. He understood that the pursuit of knowledge could not be unbridled. It must be guided by a moral compass, by a recognition of the limits of human understanding and a respect for the divine. He drew a distinction between the Book of God, which revealed His will, and the Book of Nature, which offered glimpses into His works. He saw the Book of Nature as a boundless treasure trove, not just to be read, but to be explored, to have its secrets named and categorized. This mastery, he argued, would not diminish the Book of God, but rather elevate humanity, restoring it to its rightful place as a noble and powerful being. But Bacon's vision was not simply a quest for power. He saw the advancement of science as a means of relieving human suffering, a way to ease the burdens of life after the fall. He believed that by understanding the world around us, we could harness its forces to improve our lives and create a better future. Bacon's ideas were not without their critics. Some theologians saw his emphasis on the Book of Nature as a threat to traditional religious beliefs, fearing that it might lead to a disregard for God's authority. But Bacon countered that his approach was not one of rebellion, but rather of reverence. He believed that science and religion could coexist harmoniously, each complementing the other. In his writings, Bacon often spoke of the glory of God, a phrase that might seem surprising coming from a scientist. He saw the pursuit of knowledge as a way to reveal God's glory, not to diminish it. He even likened the process of scientific discovery to a playful game between God and humanity, where the divine majesty took delight in hiding His works, only to have them found out by those who sought them with passion and intellect. Bacon's vision of a society transformed by science and faith, a society where knowledge was both a tool for progress and a path to enlightenment, was a bold one. It was a vision that resonated with the spirit of the Renaissance, a time of intellectual ferment and exploration. He dared to imagine a world where humanity, empowered by knowledge, could overcome the limitations imposed by the fall and forge a new path forward, a path illuminated by both reason and faith. 7. The ethical dimension in Bacon's thought. Imagine a world where science and religion, often seen as opposing forces, walk hand in hand. This was the vision of Sir Francis Bacon, a man who dared to dream of a society where knowledge and virtue were not separate, but intertwined, a utopia he called Ben Salem. For centuries, scholars focused on the practical side of Bacon's work, his revolutionary approach to scientific inquiry, the famous novum organum. They saw him as a pragmatist, a champion of utility. But delve deeper, and you'll discover a man driven by a profound ethical vision, a yearning for a better world for all mankind. Bacon believed that true progress wasn't just about acquiring knowledge, but about using it for the betterment of humanity. He envisioned a world where scientific discoveries weren't used for personal gain or power, but for the benefit of all. This wasn't just a naive hope, he had a plan. In Ben Salem, the pursuit of knowledge wasn't a solitary pursuit, but a collective endeavor. A society where scientists, guided by a deep sense of religious devotion, worked together to unravel the mysteries of the universe. Their purpose wasn't just to understand the world, but to improve it. Now you might be wondering, what about individual freedom? How does this utopian society reconcile with the human need for self-expression? This is where Bacon's genius lies. He understood the human condition, the allure of power, the temptation to indulge in our passions. He saw that true virtue wasn't just about following rules, but about self-control. It was about understanding our own psychology, mastering our emotions, and channeling our desires for the good of all. This wasn't a suppression of individuality, but a refinement of it, a transformation of our desires into a force for positive change. Bacon believed that knowledge and charity, far from being at odds, were essential partners in building a better world. He saw the pursuit of knowledge as a moral obligation, a duty to lift humanity from its fallen state. And this pursuit, guided by a sense of universal love, would lead to a society that was not only prosperous, but also just and compassionate. But how could a society like Ben Salem, with its strict adherence to a scientific method and religious principles, avoid becoming a rigid, unyielding machine? Here's where Bacon's brilliance shines through. He understood the power of imagination. He saw that the imagination wasn't just a frivolous tool for storytelling, but a vital force for understanding and inspiring change. In Ben Salem, the imagination was used to illustrate scientific revelations, to make complex ideas accessible to all, to instill in the hearts of its citizens a sense of wonder and awe. So, while Ben Salem may seem like a utopia, a distant ideal, it's more than just a blueprint for a perfect society. It's a testament to the power of human potential, a reminder that knowledge, when guided by a moral compass, can lead to a world where progress and virtue go hand in hand.